Today, we're tackling a critical component of your vehicle, the fuel pump. If your car is experiencing issues, a bad fuel pump could be the culprit. Stick around as we break down the symptoms of a bad fuel pump and how you can diagnose and fix it. So, what exactly is a fuel pump, and why is it so important? The fuel pump is responsible for delivering fuel from the gas tank to the engine at the appropriate pressure. Located either inside the fuel tank or along the fuel line, the fuel pump ensures a consistent flow of fuel to the engine, enabling it to perform optimally. Without a properly functioning fuel pump, your engine won't get the fuel it needs to run efficiently, or at all. When the fuel pump operates correctly, it creates the necessary pressure to inject fuel into the combustion chambers of the engine. This precise pressure is crucial because it affects the fuel-air mixture that the engine burns to generate power. If the fuel pump fails to deliver fuel at the right pressure, the engine may receive too little or too much fuel. Too little fuel can cause the engine to run lean, leading to poor performance, overheating, and potential engine damage. Conversely, too much fuel can cause the engine to run rich, resulting in poor fuel economy, increased emissions, and fouled spark plugs. In modern vehicles, the fuel pump is often controlled by the Engine Control Unit, ECU, which regulates the pump's operation based on various parameters, such as engine speed, load, and temperature. This ensures that the engine always receives the optimal amount of fuel under different driving conditions. A failing fuel pump disrupts this balance, leading to a range of symptoms like engine sputtering, difficulty starting, stalling, and loss of power. Now that you know what the fuel pump does, let's look at some signs you may need a replacement. Symptom number 1, engine sputtering at high speeds. If you notice your engine sputtering or jerking when you accelerate, it could be due to an inconsistent fuel flow caused by a failing fuel pump. This is especially noticeable on the highway or when you're trying to pass another vehicle. Symptom number 2, difficulty starting the car. If your car takes longer than usual to start or needs multiple attempts, it could mean your fuel pump isn't delivering enough fuel to the engine. This is often one of the first signs of a failing fuel pump. Symptom number 3, stalling at high temperatures. Does your car stall after it's been running for a while or on hot days? Heat can exacerbate a weak fuel pump, causing it to fail and your engine to stall. If this happens frequently, it's time to check your fuel pump. Symptom number 4, loss of power under stress. If your car loses power while going uphill or towing something heavy, it might be due to the fuel pump not being able to maintain the necessary pressure. This lack of power can be dangerous and should be addressed immediately. Symptom number 5, surging. If you notice your car surging forward suddenly without any input from you, this erratic behavior can be a sign of a failing fuel pump. It indicates that the pump is inconsistently delivering fuel to the engine. Now that we've covered the symptoms, let's talk about diagnosing a bad fuel pump. Here's what you can do. Listen for the fuel pump. Turn the key to the entre position without starting the car. You should hear a faint whirring sound from the fuel tank. If you don't, the fuel pump might not be working. Check fuel pressure. Use a fuel pressure gauge to check the pressure in the fuel line. Compare the readings to your vehicle specifications. Low or fluctuating pressure indicates a problem. Inspect the fuel pump relay and fuse. Check the fuel pump relay and fuse for any signs of damage or wear. Replacing these components is an easy fix if they are the problem. Examine the fuel filter. A clogged fuel filter can mimic symptoms of a bad fuel pump. Replace the fuel filter and see if the symptoms persist. If you determined that your fuel pump is the issue, here's a quick overview of the replacement process. Remember, if you're not comfortable doing this yourself, take your car to a professional mechanic. Relieve fuel system pressure. Disconnect the fuel pump fuse and start the engine to relieve the pressure in the fuel system. Disconnect the battery. Always disconnect the battery before working on your fuel system to avoid any accidents. Access the fuel pump. Depending on your vehicle, you may need to remove the fuel tank or access the fuel pump through a panel in the trunk or under the rear seat. Remove the old fuel pump. Carefully disconnect the fuel lines and electrical connections from the old pump and remove it from the tank. Install the new pump, reconnect the fuel lines and electrical connections, and secure it in place. Reassemble everything, reconnect the battery, and start the car to ensure the new pump is working correctly. And there you have it.